Yeah, the vampires were last week. This week, it's fine. Go outside. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. Jeff.
Yes.
I've been thinking a lot about...
You have?
I don't want to say a lot because that sets it up as though I do, and I don't. But I've been, been thinking a lot about life. And a lot of other people have been thinking a lot about life now that the doors are starting to open again in the world.
Yeah.
And life. Think about it. Wow.
Yeah. You know what? Now that you mention it, I like thinking about life.
Wow. Right?
Yeah.
Who knew? Fucking living. But the moment the doors open, I think a lot of old and normal questions started coming back. And one of them, and I swear to God, Jeff, this is real. The masks came off in California on the 15th.
Yeah, June 15th, yes.
3 days later, I'm talking to my mom on the phone, and she asked me if I'm seeing anybody.
Yeah, man. What are you waiting for? Masks
what are you
off,
waiting
bro?
for? Have you thought, like, has this, and then my mom was like, has this made you think at all more? And do you have any different opinions or feelings about having a family? Now, that's actually a thoughtful question from my mom. It's the same garbage, but it's placed in a thoughtful box.
Right.
It's like when you get, it's like when you have an uncle that doesn't know you very well and sends you the same thing for your birthday 3 years in a row without realizing it.
Yeah.
But it's wrapped up nicely.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
there's a different card every year. Yeah.
The thought didn't count, but the effort did.
The effort counts. So, and I keep trying to explain to my mother that I just listen. I love kids. I absolutely adore children. I was a preschool teacher for a while. I think kids are wonderful.
Right.
Don't want.
Yeah.
Not for me.
That's how I feel about pets. I love pets. People are like, why don't you like pets? I love pets. I just don't want to own any of them.
And what is a child except for the ultimate pet, really?
It's true.
It kind of is. I mean, and you hope, but like, I don't expect my dog one day in the next few years to just start supporting me in return. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like my dog, I don't expect my dog to do that. He might, though. He's such a brilliant boy. Aren't you a brilliant boy? You might pay the rent.
You could support me. Yes, you could
support me now.
Yeah,
but
and a dog never like learns to complain. My kids now have the power of complaining.
Yeah,
that's not fun.
It's the only power I have. As I sit here in my apartment, it's the only power I have is the power of complaining. The dog has to listen to it all. My grandmother, I think I told you this, used to say, even into her old age, she's like, I'd rather have 19 more children than one more fucking dog.
I don't know if I agree with that, but power to her, I guess.
She's like, a kid grow up, kid gets smart. It's fine. Kid watch it. Kid will take care of itself eventually. Dog need you every day forever.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, Grandma, there are some people that say that your children need you every day forever. Emotionally, spiritually.
Sounds like Grandma wanted some of those wages that you were earning at a young age.
Listen, it's very old country, man. It's very old country. Like, you got a job now. Fuck off. But no, this is a thing that a lot of people feel. I'm not alone in this. And more people are feeling that way these days, where it's like, hey, kids are just not for me. And I've never said that as like an ironclad thing. It's never been like, I've decided for the rest of my life, this is the hill that I will die on. Kids are not for me. If one day my opinion changes and I feel like I want to have kids, I'll have kids,
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't want them anymore. And there's been
what a life. What a wonderful, beautiful, what a beautiful vision of a life.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I love my kids. There's
Yep.
no tiny part of me that doesn't love my kids. They are all consuming. The love is boundless.
But so is the effort.
But my God, if I could have a life without kids, holy shit, what a beautiful, just magical wonderland that would be.
Well, and there have been studies.
Let me just tell you a quick.
Yeah.
I want to get to the study, but let me just tell you a quick thing about kids. They want to destroy everything you own.
Yes.
They want to injure you.
Yes.
They want to steal your sleep and your peace of mind.
Oh, and when they get a little older, Jeff, your money too. Like I would go into the purse, Jeff. I was that kid.
They take, they destroy, they ruin, and in return, once in a while, maybe once a week, they turn to you and they go, I love you, Daddy. And that's supposed to be enough.
The ultimate simping. You're the ultimate simps.
It's so true. That's supposed to be enough. Everybody's like, yeah, but it's so great. I mean, it's very imbalanced. It's very imbalanced.
Allow me to interject here, Jeff. There have been a lot of studies in the past that actually say people with children overall feel happier, feel more fulfilled, and are more mentally well overall than people who don't have children.
Nobody interviewed me for this study.
Oh, Jeff. Didn't you just get into the question? Didn't you just get into my exact question? Who are they interviewing for this study?
Right. And when? That's the question too, is when along the parenting trajectory, the timeline of being a parent, are they, because if you're asking people in their, 60s, 70s with adult children, they probably are a lot happier, because they've got things to, they got people to take care of them potentially. They've got things to take up their retirement years. They're worried about their kids. We talk about, some person in the prime of their life, and they have these two little, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but two
of course not.
Little demons that just want to break everything I've ever earned. Yeah. Including my spirit.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. So is there any data in this study about when and who?
Well, two researchers from Michigan State University took a look at all of these old studies, and they said, just wait a fucking minute. Wait a fucking minute. Who are you asking? When are you asking them? What are you asking them? And one of the biggest things that they found is all of these studies would lump people into, right? You've got to separate people out to get your data. Here are the two groups, Jeff. People with children, people without children.
Okay.
Can you tell me what the problem with a study with those two groups is?
I mean, there's so many different subgroups of each of those categories, right? It's
bingo.
You have no idea what kind of lives we're talking about here, where they are in the progress of raising those kids, how difficult or easy it was for them socioeconomically. There's just myriad variables that would inform whether or not quote unquote happiness is affected by the mere having or not having of children.
Right. And you're talking particularly about these subgroups within parents, but there are subgroups within people who don't have children, because there are people that want to have children but don't have children yet.
Yes.
There are people that can't have children.
Right.
And then there are people that have decided, I never want to have children.
Right.
Those are three very different reasons to not have kids. So obviously, if you put those three groups together and you're trying to get some delta value for happiness,
right.
There's a big difference.
The idea of not having something you desperately want versus interviewing someone who's at peace with the decision to not have kids.
Yeah, I don't have cockroaches, but I don't want cockroaches. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty, vis-a-vis the cockroach situation, fairly content.
And by the way, side note, cockroaches much less disruptive and damaging to a life than kids.
Oh no, you just put out the little things and it just kills them.
Yeah, but also cockroaches are hard to kill.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now I do want to say there's something very interesting about these researchers, these two associate professors.
Yeah.
From Michigan State University, go green. And let me give you their names. It's Dr. Jennifer Watling Neal.
Yeah.
And Dr. Zachary Neal.
Yes. Two researchers who just happen to share a love of finding out the truth of social investigation. And maybe they also shared, I don't know, an office space. Maybe at the university, office space is at a premium. Maybe even a desk had to be shared at one point, and two chairs just situated on either side of that desk.
They could have got married beforehand. They could have started dating beforehand.
Maybe as they were looking into some of the science and the documents that were laid on the desk in front of them, maybe one hand reached out for the document the same exact time the other hand reached out across the table for the document, and fingertips brushed ever so gently.
Sure. Maybe. I guess maybe in this situation, maybe. I guess in this one situation, I'll say maybe. But can I tell you what I find particularly wonderful about this? They're clearly researching this because people keep asking them why they're not having kids.
Yeah, after they fell in love and got married at work,
when are you having kids?
Okay, well, when's the kids? When are the little scientists coming around?
Yeah.
You know,
when are you having kids? Oh, we don't want kids. Oh, you say that now. Oh, but kids are the ultimate joy. And it's like, all right, motherfuckers, if we have to do this, then I am going into the lab and I'm gonna get the data and I'm gonna show you once and for all. I'm not missing out on anything by having kids.
Let's apply for the grant.
And then they kissed. They kissed.
Yeah. They got to be careful though, because they could just conceive kids right there in the office, and that would be
right there in the office.
That would just be counterproductive.
So what they did was they got 1,000 people together. They got 500 people with parents, or 500 people with children, 500 people that didn't have children, but they broke all of those people up into their different groups.
They got 500 people without children, and then they asked 500 people with children to show up, and they're like, I'm going to
try. I'm going to try. Do you offer childcare?
Yeah, the sitter canceled. I'm not even sure.
Who will be watching? And do you have whoever you have in the childcare? Are they CPR certified? My kid cannot have pretzels. Have pretzels.
Yeah, and my kid only eats pretzels. So how are we gonna settle this?
I had that once. I had that once when I was teaching preschool. We had like a little questionnaire that the parents filled out, and one of them was like, are there any dietary restrictions we should know about, whether they're health or religious or whatever? My child absolutely cannot have pretzels. And I was like, that's interesting. I was like, is it
twisted foods of any kind?
I was like, well, because I was like, this is interesting. So I was like, well, do you, is it like a gluten, like a wheat thing, or is it like a sodium thing? It's like, no, you just can't have them. Why? Because they're gross.
It's like they're
gross. I don't want them eating those. Yeah, it was like I literally don't want him eating those. I don't want him to think
after midnight.
I don't want him to think he likes pretzels because I don't want pretzels in my house. That's literally what I was told.
That's brilliant.
We just don't let him. No, I don't want pretzels in my house. They're disgusting. Okay, lady.
That's close to what with Jack. when he was little, he would not try chocolate. He wouldn't try it. And
you're like, good.
Yes. His fucking grandparents are like, try it. You'll love it. Try it. You'll love it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? If he doesn't want chocolate, don't force him into a goddamn chocolate addiction. Like, let him not have chocolate. Like, what a gift. What a gift to have your whole life. You just like, I can take it or leave it. I don't need chocolate. But no, of course they forced. And now he wants he begs for chocolate at the end of the day. And it's like,
listen,
no, dude, just let the kid
infinite timeline, Jeff, that kid would have found out.
Yes, but this is the pretzel thing. Like, kid doesn't need to know that pretzels are amazing. You know?
Just don't tell the kid. Listen, keep all the simple joys from my child, okay?
Exactly.
Keep simple joys from my child because I don't like thinking about them. There, I said it. I want my child to be joyless because I don't like dealing with his joy.
I'm not gonna put up with that.
You monster. So here's the way they did it.
Okay.
They took a bunch, like 1,000 Michigan adults, and it was just a simple questionnaire, right? So the first was about parental status, like, do you have or have you ever had biological or adopted children? Do you plan to have biological or adopted children in the future? Do you wish you could have or would have had biological or adopted children, right? And then they asked, people like who didn't have children, like, do you want, like, sort of like there were a couple more questions that, like, are you not yet parents? Are you childless, which is, you would like to have children eventually, or are you child free? Where, no, thank you. I'm gluten free, child free. My body is a temple.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
If I don't get
free is the best word for not having kids. Free. That is the most appropriate moniker.
So then they went into life satisfaction levels, just simple questionnaire stuff, 1 through 7, from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Just like you were filling out one of those machines to get a job in retail,
Did they break this down by age group at all? I mean, did they have like
they did
20 somethings and 30 somethings and 40 somethings and 50 somethings, or is it? Because I feel like that has an impact on it too. Yeah,
so they got all of that demographic information, and they can break out the data into all that stuff. They also did political ideology, right? From conservative to liberal, and then some follow-up questions. Well, what do you consider conservative? What do you consider liberal, right? So what people think of themselves as plus their beliefs. Right. And then they get an average of that. And then things like personality traits, the big 5, like extroversion, agreeableness, like neuroticism, like all of this stuff. They asked about it all. And then this is the part that I fucking love. Well, let me push that aside for a moment. And let me give you the big conclusion. When you break the happiness levels down and you separate the people without children into those different demographic groups.
Yeah.
Everybody is just about as happy. It's fucking wild.
So
everybody is just about as happy.
I mean, another way of saying that is everybody's just equally miserable.
Yeah, you're overall as happy as I am happy as these other people are happy, because having children, while a very important and large thing in life, is just one thing in life.
Right.
And they found out that people in general were pretty much just as happy as one another.
So as a variable, the choice of having kids or not having kids didn't seem to affect happiness in any significant way.
Seems to be a wash. Now,
well, as our great philosopher Vladimir Putin said recently, happiness is a mirage.
Yeah. Yeah. And can I tell you something? Sometimes I really identify with cold, sad, and evil. Sometimes something comes out like that, and I'm like, now, Putin said that, but if you told me that, like, Nietzsche said that,
Right.
I'd be like, that's very profound. You
Very
know
profound.
what I mean? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's just because it's,
If that was Kierkegaard, I would have
dictator.
been like, fuck yeah, let's go, Kierks.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I do want to bring out, though, is a little part of the survey that they called warmth towards child-free men and women.
Interesting. Okay. So this
Now-
is measuring the amount of in these individuals, how they thought of other people that didn't have children.
Yes, but remember, child-free in this instance is I choose not to have.
Right. Yeah.
So this is asking every other demographic group and the child-free group themselves about their
Right.
warmth towards people with children, but also their warmth towards people who choose to be child-free. And this is when I instantly knew that my thoughts about the motivation between Doctors Neil was correct, because that's such a good thing to add, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, totally. That's the only that is so revealing as a question to put on the questionnaires. Like, how do you feel about us?
but what do you think of me? And why are you mean to me? And what they found, Jeff, is while everybody seemed to have just as much warmth towards people with children. Now this means that the people who were childless, who had problems conceiving, did not feel a jealousy or a pang of remorse or anything like that towards people with children. The people who were yet to have children but could not or have not yet did not feel jealous of the people with children. The child-free people were like, fuck yeah, people with kids. Have your
Right.
kids. That's wonderful. Every single group felt less warmth towards the child-free group. They felt as though, Jeff, perhaps we are a little less human and trustworthy in some way.
Wow. You know, we got to destigmatize that. I
We
think that's
do.
a huge problem. It's a huge problem because there is nothing more helpful to the world than choosing not to have kids.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you,
it
and you're
is-
welcome.
It is a beautiful act that it's good for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for the planet. It's good for everybody.
Oh my
It's
God.
good for my transatlantic flight.
Oh, it's
cool.
so good. It's so good for all of my collectibles.
It's
good for my
good
it's good for my
everything you
electronics.
own. Yes. No, I'm dead serious that as someone with children, we got to destigmatize the choice not to have them, because I think it is not just valid. Absolutely, it's valid, a choice, but it is beneficial to everyone. The world is being overpopulated. The resources are scarce. Fewer kids. Yes. Also, the life that you can have without children. Telling you, man.
So yeah, it's so everybody feels it. It's people feel a little more cold towards men without children than women for some reason.
Interesting. I wonder if that is because there's some sort of weird pity to the woman that is, sexist and unfounded.
I think it's both kind of sexist, right? Because it's like, the poor thing probably can't, or the poor, you know what I mean? Or like, she'll come around, or she just couldn't find a man or something like that. Whereas it's like, if you're a dude and you don't want to have kids, it's like, oh, fucking Peter Pan, midlife crisis, garbage bullshit. Only thinks about himself, very fucking self-serving. Like,
I'm all of those things, and I still had kids.
Yeah.
So that has nothing to do with anything.
Everybody thinks that like dudes who don't want to have kids are like the guy in the first two acts of a rom-com.
Yes. That is
You know what I
so
mean?
perfect. That is so perfect. That's exactly what people think.
Whether it's the main character who hasn't arced.
Yeah.
Whether it's the main character who hasn't arced or the rival to the main character who clearly is too self-involved and doesn't really care about the woman. Right.
Yeah.
Like it's this old school rom-com-y shit where like I'm an evil person because I don't want to have kids. Like,
and that is
what's
not
wrong with
why,
him though? What's
that's
wrong
not
with
why
him,
you're
though?
an evil person.
No,
you're an evil
I'm
person
an
for
evil person
completely
because
different reasons.
Because Vladimir Putin makes a lot of sense. Happiness is a mirage. I like owning big TVs. I want to know that my remote buttons aren't sticky.
Yeah.
That's not. But no, I think I do think it is a stigma, but I do think it's something that's becoming less frowned upon. Like I have more and more friends that, and I don't know, maybe it's just because we're getting older, but I have more and more friends that feel open about saying it. I have more and more married friends that, you know, say like, yeah, we're just choosing not to. And like, hey, if we change our mind, we change our mind. You know?
I also feel, and maybe this is just because I'm in it and so now I'm aware of it more, but I also feel like people are more honest about how hard parenting is and how disruptive to a lifestyle it is. And I feel like when I was growing up, my parents never spoke of that. I mean, maybe it's just because I was a kid and I didn't hear it. Maybe they spoke of it to each other.
I could see it sometimes in my parents.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have a generation of divorce that is a direct result of it. The one thing I have learned, by the way, is when you were growing up as a kid and all your friends got divorced or your parents got divorced, you always heard, well, it's not you. To the kids. And I'm here to say it is 100% you.
I mean,
it was 100%.
It may not be you, but you are exacerbating the situation.
There's probably issues there ahead of time, but having the kids just ramps everything to 11. And
do you know, because listen, we've all had breakups where it's like, look, I was going through a really bad time in work and in my career and the stress of my job and their job. And the relationship didn't last. I mean, it probably wasn't going to last anyway, but the bad time definitely sped it up. That's 18 years at least. I stopped asking for money when I stopped asking for money, like maybe when I was 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're about to start again.
I'm about to start again. Thanks, COVID.
Re-up that shit. Yeah. No.
How'd you like your 10-year vacation, assholes?
I want back pay. I want back pay.
With interest.
Yeah.
I know I started sending you checks. That was for you to hold on to and then send me back double.
That was an investment.
Yeah. I thought you were going to put that in the bank for me. Did you not do that? Yeah, but I think it's something that needs to be destigmatized because not everybody,
totally.
Not everybody wants kids, and that is not the definition of a family.
Right.
The end.
And I think that is a very valid takeaway from this study, but I also think we kind of glossed over what is genuinely surprising to me, that happiness, when taken against all these other variables, isn't affected by the decision to have kids or not, because I feel like it is such a disruptive element for my life and my friends that have had kids. Like, we all commiserate together about how much harder life is. And so I'm surprised that that's really the case, but it makes sense that everybody's life has difficulties and everybody's happiness is equally difficult to,
something is going to fill the time.
Right. Yes.
Something is going to fill the time.
Everyone has problems and everything is relative, right?
Yeah. Like, for instance, Jeff, when I woke up late this morning and I walked out onto the street and I went to my favorite place to have coffee and pie for a leisurely breakfast.
Uh-huh.
They did not have my first choice of pie, and I had to go with my second choice of pie.
That is tough.
It was a bummer.
One.
It was such a bummer that I had to go walk around the park about it at my own pace. And then I came home and I played my usual mid-morning video games, and I just couldn't stop thinking about, and it just threw me off my game.
Yeah. No, I'm sure if you were to report
day.
your general happiness level, it would be relatively low.
Relatively low today. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can relate to that because
this is just one bad day.
Sure. Meanwhile, I I woke up at 2 this morning to a screaming daughter who decided that it was morning and wanted to dance in the living room at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And the only way to calm her down was to sleep literally on the floor outside of her crib as she kicked the side of it over and over. So I got about 4 hours of sleep total last night.
Yeah.
Basically the same thing.
It's basically the same thing. Can I ask you something? Was that your daughter, or did somebody think your house was an after hours club?
Sadly, both.
Oh God, kids are stupid. It's not morning, dummy.
It wasn't morning at all. Like
morning is light out.
See.
Idiot.
Any fool could see it was dark. Any fool. And she 2 o'clock in the morning. Dada, breakfast. Dada, let's dance. Dada, dance with me. Chase me. Let's play hide and seek.
Does she crawl out of the crib and like come to you?
She has. We've lowered the crib. She has one time stuck herself over the top and come crashing to the ground in a massive thud and tears.
So this is a call out. This is a straight dad call out.
Straight dad call, straight like, get me out of here. It's morning. I'm ready to wake up.
I'm trapped in here.
Screaming. Yes, got to get out of here.
Okay.
And
that's very cool.
There's no like go back to sleep, honey, because she for some reason is super wired and wants to play and like let's do this. It's morning, and the only way to calm her down is to lay down next to her crib on the floor and try to calm her down.
Yeah, we're probably just about as happy as one another.
Almost exactly the same situation as not having the right pie.
Hey, do you know what might make you happy? Giving us money.
Oh, I can almost guarantee that it will make you happy.
Listen, I forgot to mention the one change that was above Delta in this study was when people gave We Have Concerns money.
Yeah.
They Whether got you're a parent, instantly happy.
Not a parent, you get there's a joy in knowing that these two jokers, one without kids, one with kids, our happiness level is going up, which makes your happiness level go up. And the only thing that goes down is a few dollars out of your wallet. That's very little.
It's a few dollars. It's a few dollars. And listen, we're gonna give you stuff.
Cool stuff.
Very really cool stuff.
Yeah. We got a whole Discord server of like-minded folks, cool people relating cool stories to each other, hanging out, talking about life, commiserating. It's the best. And you know they're cool because they give us at least $1 a month every month.
For $1 a month, you get access to that. We've got all kinds of different chat rooms in that Discord. It's a lot of fun. People are hanging out, sharing photos, having a good time, making friends. In addition, you get bonus audio. You get extra episodes. You get an entire back catalog of bonus audio and extra episodes over the entire 6-year existence of this podcast.
It's a lot of stuff.
We were not recording bonus audio when we weren't recording any audio, but there is some bonus audio from way back in the day. Every guest we've ever had on, every cold open to the show that goes unrecorded, that little conversation that we're ending when the episode starts, those are all back there, and you can listen to them all the way back until the dawn of, well, not the dawn of man, but the dawn of this podcast. So if you want to check that out and help us out, this is the only way we monetize the show.
Yeah.
Head to patreon.com/we have concerns.
You can actually listen to audio from before I was a dad. That's how long ago we were doing it.
He sounds happier.
Oh, yeah.
But that's scientifically impossible.
Oh, Anthony.
Yes, Jeff.
We did it. We finally did it.
We made a Ratchet and Clank game horny? Because the new Ratchet and Clank game is kind of horny.
Kind of horny, but so good.
It's very good.
So good. No, Anthony, we did it. We've created a sun on Earth. And I'm not talking SON. I'm talking full-on fiery ball of plasma on the surface of our planet.
Yes, this is the French thing. It was started in France. Yes, the ear, and it's like 32 different countries are working on it.
Exactly, 35 different partner countries. Wow. It's going to be built in southern France, and the first of the major magnet components has been completed. The solenoid, baby.
We got that solenoid?
They're shipping it from San Diego to France right now. And a brand new article that was posted on our Discord by Direnair. Thank you, Direnair, for posting that. Is all about how General Atomics, which is the company, I don't even know if it's a company. It's this conglomerate of multiple nations that have teamed together and all agreed to share technology with each other. It's a really unprecedented level of cooperation and scientific unity across 35 partner countries, including.
And it sounds like they're making a robot. General Atomics sounds like they're about to make an adorable boy robot.
Yeah, it's like in the movie you would walk by the kiosk that has the big flat screen LCD and it has the commercial like, at General Atomics, we think that having a child doesn't have to be a biological experience anymore.
Hi, Dad. Do you need me to arm the cannons?
Now your cannons can be armed safely and easily with a General Atomics boy or girl of your very
Daddy
own.
Daddy at morning, I want to dance.
And they behave just like real children.
They behave just like real children. No, science has gone too far. No, I love this. This is the big, obviously, if we can make it, we are making a sun, but we're not making a sun. What we're trying to do is we're trying to make, it's Doc Ock. It's Spider-Man 2. We want to harness the power of a sun by creating a sun that we can then make clean energy from.
It's fusion on Earth that theoretically, they seem to have proven this in a lab, but on a scale that we haven't achieved yet. Yeah. So the idea is theoretically on a scale that could power entire city power grids. This will be fusion. Fusion, of course, produces no greenhouse gases, has no long-living radioactive waste, and if a fusion plant goes down, let's say, it's hacked by foreign attackers, which
or Alfred Molina is his hubris makes him turn it up too high too fast.
Yeah, that could happen too. You got to watch Alfred Molina. Don't let him near stuff.
Yeah.
The risk of accidents at fusion plants is basically zero because if the containment is lost in a fusion power plant, it just turns off. The fusion reaction just stops and it turns off. There's no like meltdown. There's no, horrible Chernobyl type situation. It just stops. So fusion could be really, really important and it could save the world quite literally in the next few decades.
Please.
And this is fusion on a scale that no one has done before. So you have to hear some of the numbers that this thing can put out and what it took to build it. 7 is one of them.
Wow.
7 is one of them. Okay, so fully assembled, this central solenoid, which is the largest of the magnets that's inside the ITER. The ITER, by the way, so cool. It's named after, it's a Latin term that means the way.
Yeah,
so it's called ITER.
Yeah.
So rad, right? And
this sounds like good scientists. Do you know what I mean? And it could just be like evil scientists that have the good front face. You know what I mean? And we don't know it yet. It could be Shinra. I don't think it's Shinra.
Well, you're right in that everything I read about this, all the interviews that I've watched of the scientists that are participating in this, they all seem like the coolest, nicest, most awesome people who are literally like unifying across all these different countries. But then when you read about what they're making, it does seem like evil scientists' maddest, most ambitious scheme.
Remember the last time we got all the really cool, like best thinking scientists in the world and they made the biggest bomb ever?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But
that was so long ago. I was like, before I was even born.
I wasn't even there. So shut up about it.
So this thing is called the ITER tokamak. And tokamak is a word that means sun on Earth.
Fuck.
So badass.
I'm naming my kid Tokamak. I've decided finally that I'm going to have kids just to name one Tokamak.
Tokamak, sun on Earth. That's a cool name for your son too. That'd be awesome. So fully assembled, This thing is going to be 59 feet tall, 14 feet wide, and weigh 1,000 tons. This is the central solenoid.
Now the central solenoid. Now they built this big boy solenoid.
Yeah.
It's not magnetic yet, right?
No, not.
Solenoid. I mean, just the solenoid can't really. I'm just thinking about how do you ship this thing? It's big.
Oh, I'm going to get to all of that, dude. I'm going to get to all that. It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
I got all the deets on this, but let me set up how big and badass this thing is. Okay. So the central solenoid is, when it's switched on, it will be a magnet, the size and power of which humanity has never made. Right? This is the most powerful magnet humans have ever constructed.
Yeah.
It will create a magnetic force that is measured in Teslas. It will create 13 Teslas of a magnetic
if they can make this work, every member of the team gets a Tesla as a bonus.
13 members of the team, 13 Teslas. No.
13
So 13 Tesla strong magnetic field means it's about 280,000 times stronger than the Earth's magnetic field. And when you switch this thing on, the magnetic force, the magnetic force is strong enough to lift an aircraft carrier 6 feet into the air.
No, see, we're going to make a robot. We're going to make a robot
that can throw aircraft carriers.
Fuck, dude. Yes.
So in order to support this thing, the support structures for the central solenoid are going to have to be able to withstand forces equal to twice the thrust of a space shuttle's liftoff.
What do you make that out of? Vibranium isn't real.
I got all the deets.
Now, I just want to say solenoid. When you say solenoid, like when I think of a solenoid, I think of just like a big coil of wire.
That's what it is.
It's just the world's largest fucking coil of wire?
Yes. So each 14-foot diameter, 110-ton module requires more than 2 years of fabrication, of more than 3 miles of steel-jacketed niobium tin superconducting cable. So they take 3 miles of this superconducting tin and they wrap it to where it's in 14 feet of diameter. They say that the cable is wound into these layered pancakes and then spliced together within 10 millimeters of variance. They have to be that precise at that scale.
Holy shit.
Then they haven't made that tin superconducting yet. In order to make it superconducting, they have to treat it with heat. Basically, they bake it in an enormous oven, in this furnace. They bake it for 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And
you're not allowed to put your pizza rolls in there, Jerry.
The oven is it's large enough. I could fit them right in there, and it's going to take a fraction of the time.
Jerry, the last time you did that, one of your pizza rolls did one of those things where the pizza roll explodes, and you got a bunch of goop all over the solenoid, and we had to start all over. That's 3 miles of steel jacketed wire, Jerry.
But Ronald, I'm hungry. You
can do a hot pocket. You can do a hot pocket. They're less explodey.
Sweet. So the initial temperature that's inside the furnace, 10.5 days at 1,060 degrees Fahrenheit, an additional 4 days at 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit.
Do you think anybody does I know I just made a joke about snacks, but do you think anybody who's on the team likes to fire ceramics? Because that feels like, it feels like you could probably sneak a couple things in.
Well, get this. So then after this thing becomes a superconductor, they wrap it. The turns of the module are then stretched like a slinky. Mm-hmm. And then they wrap insulation around the conductor, this fiberglass that they wrap the whole thing in. 25 layers of it, 25 layers of fiberglass and Kapton sheets, and then it's enclosed in another mold that is 1,000 gallons of epoxy resin, which are injected under a vacuum and then hardened at 260 degrees Fahrenheit. So basically the epoxy fuses the entire thing. So it's basically like they're firing some ceramics up in this bad boy.
Wow. That's insane. How many of these things do they got to make one totem Mekatub Turkamek?
They're making 5 of them with 1 spare. So it's 6 in total, I guess. So the thing is going to have 5, and then they're making 1 as like a swappy outie, you know, because, 1,000 tons, you just need to swap 1 in, swap 1 out.
Yeah, that makes sense. What do they swap them in and out with? A giant robot arm that's powered by another sun. I think this all leads to giant robot, Jeff.
I mean, it must, right?
I don't say giant robot on this show very often, but this sounds like giant robot.
I mean, I haven't even explained how the fusion works inside. Basically, this magnet like takes plasma ions and like pulses this intense amount of magnetic field at them, which creates thermal energy. So basically, this thing isn't even going to make electricity yet. It's just a proof of concept that it can create more energy than is needed to run it. And what they're expecting is a 10x return on energy.
Fuck. It's all happening.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
It's the first fusion device to maintain fusion for long periods of time. It will generate 500 megawatts of thermal fusion power, more than 30 times the current record.
I bet my electric bill still goes up somehow.
Yeah.
I bet it still gets worse.
Probably. But, they got to pay for those giant robots somehow, too, You can't get too mad.
I'll listen. I understand that it is my job and it is my civic duty as a taxpayer to fund every giant robot. I'm happy when I look at my paycheck every 2 weeks and I see that little bit that's taken out for giant robots. I'm proud. Yeah. Because that means I'm giving back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're giving back until the giant robots come and, remove the roof of your house and pluck you out
that's our giant robot. No, that's our giant robot. Our giant robot would never do that.
Okay. All right.
America's law-keeping forces would never turn on its population.
What evidence do we have of that ever happening?
Woo!
So let me tell you you asked about how they move it from San Diego to France.
Yeah.
So check this out. The ITER construction involves over 1 million components that are manufactured all around the world. And some of them, as is this central solenoid, are really big. So the way they're shipping the central solenoid from San Diego is they have these specialized, one-of-a-kind heavy transport vehicles that are going to load this bad boy onto, kind of like how we move the space shuttle through the heart of Los Angeles. It's literally going to put it on this giant heavy transport vehicle and drive it to Houston, Texas.
Okay.
And the process for loading it, securing the module in the truck, driving it there, it's going to take about a week to get from San Diego to Houston. And there it is placed onto a ship that gets sailed to France.
Okay.
And it'll leave in late July and arrive in France in late August. So it ain't going fast.
No.
Takes a month on the sea.
Yeah, it's basically it's going on a shipping route. Yeah, so that makes sense. But then when they need to lift the big boy and they need to put the big boy on a platform, what do they lift the big boy with, and what is the platform made of? How do you support the big boy?
Like I said, the platform, the support structure is made to withstand the force of equivalent of 2 space shuttle launches.
Yeah, I understand. What made up?
It's going to be this like 10-story tall cylinder, basically. I don't know what it's made of. some hard alloys, I'm guessing. It doesn't say what is exactly it's made out of.
Hard Alloys was my favorite Vertigo comic back in the day.
Such a good comic.
10 stories. Fuck,
10
dude.
stories.
Can I tell you? Okay. I remember the first time I saw the drill that drills subway tunnels, right? That big Italian drill. And I looked at it and I couldn't even wrap my mind around the big tunnel drill. And this is like 10 stories and it's going to be a fucking sun.
Yeah. It's going to be a sun.
Insane.
We're going to literally light up it's going to have actually more heat than the sun. It's going to be more sun than the sun. It's going to create more heat inside the plasma than the actual sun does.
Okay, well, it's not a competition, but like if this whole thing goes live according to their timeline, it's like 2030 something it goes live.
No, I think this is going to go live much earlier than that, but they have the National Academy of Science and Engineering and Medicine and the U.S. Department of Energy and Fusion Energy Science Advisory Committee both put out independent studies, each of them, the two different studies that called for or laid out a strategic plan that says that in the United States, we could have an actual power plant by 2040. So the first study was said between 2035 and 2040, and the second one said fusion power plant by 2040.
Get ready. It's our job as humanity to get in front of all of the garbage, bullshit, capitalist nonsense that's going to get in the way of this thing. Because they could be online by 2040, but you just wait. You just wait. You see how long it takes fucking Texas to get free fusion energy, right?
I know, right?
You see how long it takes some of these states that go like, listen, even California, the power grid is highly privatized in California. In order for free energy to go live in California, there are a lot of huge corporate interests that are going to try to stop this from happening.
Yeah.
And that's why we got to build our robot first.
We got to build our robot before their robot, so our robot can destroy their robot. And what if they make, I don't know if they awaken some sort of beasts from under the sea to stop our robot? That just means our robot has to be more powerful and more determined, frankly.
Maybe our robot needs two pilots working together.
Fused, you mean like in the brain?
In the brain, in the robot, in its power source. It's all fusion. Fusion is not just the science, Jeff. It's the central metaphor of the whole thing.
So you're saying we need to find two pilots. We need them to fall in love.
We don't necessarily need them to fall in love, but here's the thing.
But if they fell
I have
in love,
a feeling they're going to be so alike that in the beginning they may hate each other.
Ooh, but
and that's
by the
something we
second
gotta
act,
deal with.
I bet they learn to love each other.
Now, once again, Jeff, not everybody needs to love each other. I mean, in a
I bet they
towards
do.
your fellow man, sure, but not in a romantic way. It could be an aromantic relationship between these two pilots, Jeff, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but let's be honest. You know, you're stuck inside a sweaty, hot robot all day long.
You got your scientists. You got your scientists. Are you not happy? When are you going to be happy?
I want more. When everyone is boinking inside of giant robots, then I'll be happy.
Listen, honestly, same. Honestly, you just described my dream future.
Well, I'm glad we could get on the same page on this one.
I think this is wonderful, and I saw this pop up in headlines, and I had not had a chance to read it yet, but I was so excited because I think we talked about this back in the day when they first started talking about it, and we were just worried that like something this big and you know this ambitious, like how's it going to happen? But it looks like it's progressing.
And they say that it slowed down slightly during COVID, but they've proceeded. It's 75% built at the moment. And
can't even make a new Zelda game during COVID. You're going to make a sun on Earth?
Come on. Yeah. And you know, it's inspiring on a number of levels, right? Because we've got the notion of clean, safe, renewable energy that is really close and really could quite literally impact the entire planet. We've got 35 countries, European Union, United Kingdom, China, India, Japan, Korea, Russia, United States, everybody's setting aside any of their geopolitical differences, working together, science being paramount, cooperation being paramount. It's super inspiring on a number of levels to me. And it's one of those
when
stories
they open that hangar door, Jeff, and we see that first robot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like the camera pans up and you get the lens flare and then the anime lens flare sound.
Yeah, and then there's steam coming off of various components, and that moment where the little crane that they use to load stuff onto it pulls back, and you see it's finally free from its restraints. That's a good moment.
It's gonna be so good. No, but this is going to be world changing. If this works, it's going to change everything.
And we should see it in our lifetime. We should see it in our lifetime when the first. I mean, as you said, barring jackassery on a political level, which, is probably a certainty. But these regulatory committees are saying 2040, we could have power plant up and running in the United States, powering cities with this inexhaustible, clean energy source. Super exciting to me.
God, it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
It's going to be so cool. Man, I would love to see. I mean, we got the internet and stuff. Like, I feel like I've been alive during some very big advances for sure. I would love to be alive during this one. This is gonna because this is a mankind changing event.
Yeah.
This is a delineator in the history of civilization. And
yes,
and it all starts with this big boy Slinky getting on the boat. Get on the boat, right. You big boy Slinky. It's time to change the world.
There's a quote from the Director General of the ITER organization saying the ITER project is the most complex scientific collaboration in history. Now, unfortunately, this person's name, the Director General of ITER's, named Dr. Bernard Bigot. I don't know. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's going to be fine. It's going to be easy.
Headed up by a bigot,
Well, and to be fair, he did replace the old director, Dr. Dark Hand.
Yeah.
Who in turn replaced Lady Murder Fist. So,
but I don't see any pattern here that we need to worry about. You know what I mean? I feel like this is all a beautiful collaboration across numerous countries.
If anything, it sounds like at least slow and steady progress.
Yeah. Let Dr. Bigot do what he must.
It's like Dr. Bigot always says, the ends justifies the means. And I think nothing about that when Dr. Bigot says it. Because I'm sure he's just talking about in terms of getting good scientific work done for the people.
I'm sure we're going to find out that it's French and he's like Bijot or something.
I'm sure it's Bijot.
It's spelled Bigot. I'm sorry.
I'm sure it's Bijot, but I can't wait until the hangar opens and the Bigot 7 comes out. 50 feet tall.
Yeah.
Ready to fight all enemies of bigotry.
Oh, I get it. Dr. Bigot is an enemy of bigotry. That's why they call me Dr. Bigot, because I can't stand bigotry. Oh man.
No,
anyway,
he said he was, yeah.
Good stuff.
It's gonna be good.
Barely
it's gonna be good.
Her.
All right, and that seems like as good a time as any to fucking call it a day. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. Remember, if you'd like to discuss this or any other episodes with like-minded, concerned citizens, you can do so right on our Discord, and you get access to that for just $1 a month at patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. It's also a great place to submit stories that you'd like us to discuss here on the show. You can also send those to wehaveconcernshow@gmail.com or leave them on the subreddit.
Yeah, do it. Check it out. See all the cool stuff. You can help us make the show and get cool stuff. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win, that Patreon. Go look at the Patreon. Jeff's got to buy a soundproof crib for his child. He's got to invent the soundproof crib.
Yes, if you can't hear them, it's like they're not screaming.
That's a Jeff Bezos quote, right?
Yeah.